My name is Ian Coble. I'm a professional photographer residing in Seattle, Washington, directly over there. And originally grew up in Southern California. Been in the Pacific Northwest now for, I think, 15 or 16 years. And originally got into photography after I got out of college. I was going to Western Washington University in Bellingham and spending all my time skiing up at Mount Baker, and graduated with a degree in anthropology, and then kind of looked at myself and said, well, what the hell am I going to do now? Because there's really not a whole lot I can do with this. So took a little bit of time away from school after I graduated, and kind of spent some time just thinking about what I was doing with my life. And most of my time was being spent outdoors. So it was a matter of trying to figure out a way to incorporate sort of what I loved, being outdoors, with what I could actually make money at and make a career out of. And I knew I wasn't ever going to be good enough to be a professional athlete, so I'd have to start looking elsewhere, and photography ended up being that thing that I turned to. It was something I'd always been interested in, but never considered as a career. But once I picked up a camera and actually started playing around with it and following my friends on trips, and tossing it in my ski pack and following around them for a day and shooting, it was something that not only did I really like at, but it was also something that I ended up being really good at also. And it just sort of snowballed from there. On a typical day of shooting, my pack usually contains kind of a quiver of gear, but it kind of has to be pared down because it all has to fit in that one pack. So I'm a Nikon guy myself, so I carry a Nikon D3 and a Nikon D800 for my camera bodies. And then a selection of lenses. I usually try and keep it pretty light and diverse just because of weight. Carry a 28 to 70 2.8, 80 to 200 2.8, 16 millimeter fisheye, and a 14 to 24 2.8. Between those four lenses, I'm usually able to cover 98% of the shots that I would need. Every once in a while, I need to bring out like a bigger telephoto lens or a specialty lens for something, but that'll usually cover it. And, the day usually starts the following morning, getting up at the crack of dawn. For me, it's usually around 4 in the morning. Getting up and checking the weather forecast to make sure that things didn't change overnight, and wind didn't blow in or ruin something, or temperatures didn't spike and ruin the snowpack, and assuming that things are still good, load up the car nice and early, and living here in Seattle, make the push to wherever we're going. Around here it's usually an hour to a 2-hour drive up to the mountain, and try and get there before the general public does. There we go. Yeah, once we usually, get it to the mountain and get going, the day kind of has to evolve organically. It's not something that you can plan out too far in advance. Always have an idea of what I'd like to shoot. I'll talk to the athletes I'm shooting with, and we kind of have certain ideas of what we'd like to do, but there's only so much that you can plan, and the rest of Mother Nature kind of dictates, and you sort of have to roll with the punches that you're dealt. It can be blowing like hell, and the area of the mountain that you wanted to shoot with is whiteout, and it's closed because of avalanche danger, or one of a million different factors. And so once you get there, you just kind of have to take a look at what's going on, and you don't get to go back to the car every 5 minutes and grab more gear. You go with what's there. And sometimes it means your gear gets trashed over the course of the day, and I'm pretty sure Chris has got some great footage of me huddled over a pack getting puked on in a blizzard somewhere. So this little pillow in front of us, and just kind of a little tight shot right at the camera. Probably shift the offset or something like that, and it right now is a little bit difficult because it's just so windy. The visibility is flat. I'm a little hesitant to even shoot it because of how flat the light is, but at the same time, we're here, we might as well, and if it doesn't work out, we'll move to the trees and just get a little bit. It's almost kind of one of those days where I'll look at it when I get back to the computer at night, because the longer it's out in here, the harder it is on the gear. So yeah, like I was saying, every once in a while, things change, and you definitely have to handle conditions as they evolve. And when we were up at Stevens the other day, what started out as an awesome day, the wind picked up, the visibility went to shit, and we kind of had to make the most out of the lemons that we were dealt. We ended up actually, it's something I don't do often, but every once in a while it's sort of required. And went to the parking lot, and sometimes those little pitches between the parking lots will have a little steep slope, but powder will hold there. They're usually protected and isolated and sheltered from the wind, and it's not the most glorious of skiing, especially for the athletes, but when you're shooting with strobes, sometimes it allows you to be able to carry the weight and put it in places where you wouldn't be able to, because you've got the roads that are plowed, that are upkept, and you can move around easily on those rather than post-holing around in waist deep snow, which can take hours to just get one shot. So taking advantage of plowed conditions, we're able to put those strobes in places that we otherwise wouldn't be able to, or at least capitalize on taking a whole lot more shots. And especially with the day and the weather that we had the other day when we were shooting, there was nowhere else to shoot on the mountain. Well, we've kind of moved on today from shooting on the mountain to now shooting on the road. Kind of got blown off the mountain by high winds, and we're just going to take a shot here real quick, so come back and describe it to you here in a second.